Hey, hey, hey. Happy Tuesday. Come on in. Pull up a chair. The Gaming Gang Dispatch is in the air. Howdy, 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 gang. Welcome once again to the Duct Tape Studios. I'm Jeff McAleer, your host here at the Gaming Gang Dispatch, brought to you by thegaminggang.com, of which I happen to be the Grand Poobah. Yes, I am the founder and editor-in-chief of thegaminggang.com. So if this is your first time visiting, you're probably having a hell of a time tonight, because this is our fourth time out the gate to try to get this stream in. But you might be watching this video after the fact. So what I do is I provide the latest tabletop gaming news of the day, and then we'll take a first look at a board game, a role-playing game, what have you. Tonight, I am going to be taking a first look at Unfair, which is from Good Games Publishing. I just recently reviewed Funfair, which is kind of a lighter follow-up to this game, and really, really enjoyed it. We've had a blast with it. So I'm going to be taking a look at that, as well as its expansion. So we're going to jump into that. We're running about almost an hour behind our schedule because things have been wacky. I'll talk about that in just a moment, but do want to mention, if you like this video, by all means, please give it a quick thumbs up. Subscribe to the Gaming Gang channel if you haven't already, and if you do subscribe, ding that bell. It'll let you know not only when the Dispatch streams live, Monday through Thursday nights right here on YouTube. I'll also let you know when I upload other videos, such as my upcoming review of World's Fair 1893 from Renegade Game Studios. And of course, when you're not watching videos on the Gaming Gang channel, be sure to visit thegaminggang.com for all latest in gaming news, reviews, and a whole lot more. You know that drill. Get your geek on at thegaminggang.com. Lastly, there is chat available here. I'm not sure how many people are still hanging out, because we started off with a really good chat the first time I came out the gate with this. But I do want to mention the chat is not on screen. It's one of the ways I keep some of the stranger commenters at bay. But I do pay attention to chat. So if you want to say howdy, maybe get a question, a comment, by all means, chime in. I will do my best to respond. So Gary Clarkson, I think, has been first out the gate in chat saying hello all 4 times. I think he has been. Pickles is with us again. And the Madman, yes, the Madman has joined us. One of our chat moderators, the Motor City Madman, is with us. So I'm going to take a peek here. So it looks like we're dropping a ton of frames still. I have no idea what's going on with this. It's got to be something in the system downstairs. I ran up on my laptop and ran a packet loss test, and it was showing like minuscule. I think it was 0 packets lost. Down here, not the same. It's something is going on. I don't know what it is. For all I know, it is a Windows update that is operating in the background that's not supposed to be updating. But we've talked about this before, that Microsoft doesn't care who owns your computer. They'll do whatever they want with it. So I get the feeling that that is the case here, because we are dropping like half, at least half, and we're all over the place. So I am at a loss, because I don't want to continue doing the stream because I mean, I'll keep going because it's possible this will clear up, but then again, it might not. This might actually also be an Xfinity thing, a Comcast thing as well going on here. But once again, I didn't get that kind of packet loss on my laptop as I'm getting down here on the desktop part of the studio setup. So I don't know. I don't know what we should be doing here. Let's take another look. Yeah, it's showing we've already dropped over 10,000 frames, and we are at over half. Over half of the frames are getting dropped. So I'm going to try something here. I don't think this will help out, but, and of course now Pinky, one of the cats here, my dad's cat, is now down in the basement caterwauling. Wow, wow. Just what I need, Pinky. Just what I need. All right, so let me see something here. Sometimes if I change a setting around, it improves. But I don't know. Once again, the thing that's throwing me off is our kilobits per second are just way, way out of whack. Just way out of whack tonight. Yeah, we are. Even the just looking at the software, it's like even when we're in our like kilobits per second, it's like, you know, there's like a green zone. So now suddenly we've slipped into a green zone, and it looks like it's pretty steady. So yes, there you go. Sarah is with us in chat. Raymond Tompkins is back again. Wow, he's really hanging in here on this. So Sarah D says, I disturbed the ladybugs, so they sabotaged my computer. Got to admit, I had a big ladybug like fly into one of the lights just before. I mean, they're covered. It didn't fly into a light and get like, you know, electrocuted or something. But it did like slap into, because I have like fabric softener basically. If you shoot photography in that, you know what I'm talking about. See, it flew boom right into it. I was like, holy cow. It was like, what the hell was that? So, yeah, see, it looks like it's jumping all over still. I don't know. We'll see what happens. Every once in a while, now we had a problem a few months back for about a week where we were getting it was just awful. So I don't know. And I think it boiled down to something, if I remember right, I think it was a Windows thing. And then, of course, then it was gone. And everything was fine. So we've actually been fine for a lot of streams lately. Usually things that are messed up are my fault. All right. So we'll see what we can do. We'll see what we can do. Once again, it looks like we're back in kind of a... Okay, so I'm going to check the settings again. Yeah, so people are like, right now, it's pretty good. I know. That's why I'm kind of like, so. All right. You'll see what we can do here. You know, of course, as soon as somebody said that, we dropped to 0 kilobits per second. Man, this is really, really irritating me. All right, so I'm going to switch up one more thing here. Now, if I change something up, I'm wondering if it's going to change the sync, the audio sync. So I don't know. See, the weird thing is, even when the kilobits per second jump way high, it still shows like red. It shows, yes, this is a problem, that it should not be doing this. So, but it looks like it is getting a little bit better because our drop frames are not showing. They were over 50%. Now it's down to like 40 something. Flaming Heron didn't come back, says Gary. Coincidence? All right, let's jump in. Let's rock through this. See what we get. Worst comes to worst, if the stream just ends up being really awful, I'll just upload the video. I know I'll lose the views and everything else. So Eddie T is watching in the other room yelling, saying, tell him to switch to Linux. I don't know anything about Linux. Nothing about Linux. I know a little bit about Macs, but nothing about Linux. Sorry. All right, jumping into the news. Next month brings a new expansion to the Shards of Infinity card game from Stoneblade Entertainment and Ultra Pro Entertainment. Here's the dope on Into the Horizon. The Shards have awoken, their twisted voices whispering into the minds of these Shard masters, stoking the flames of war with every word. Shards of Infinity Into the Horizon continues the deck-building battles seen in previous Shards of Infinity sets, with players seeking a new destiny for a universe overcome by the power of the mighty Shards. 2 new gameplay mechanisms are featured in this set: Destinies and the Evil Ingeminics. Destinies allow players to spend valuable mastery to gain an incredible advantage during gameplay. The Ingeminics are a new source of tension that seek to harm all players, but they can be defeated with a well-timed use of power. This set concludes the current storyline told through the Shards of Infinity adventure and paves the way for an untold future. The core game, Shards of Infinity, is for 2 to 5 players ages 10 and up, plays around 45 to 60 minutes. This Into the Horizon expansion is going to carry an MSRP of $10 when it arrives in May. Very cool. I reviewed the core game, Shards of Infinity. I liked it. I thought it was different. The one thing that, it wasn't like radically different, but the one thing that I had a bit of a knock against it was the art. I thought the art was a little too generic. So Raymond is asking, what days do I do my live streams? Usually Monday through Thursdays here on YouTube. But this is live stream 643. And this week I'm deciding if we're going to continue on. So we'll see what happens. See what happens as far it's the number of viewers. This is basically what's going on. All right. Anyway, let's take a peek here. Yeah, this is holding up a little bit better. Still not good. It looks like we do have some chop, but it is actually showing that we've got fewer dropped frames as before. So we're down to like 30% of the show. The entire stream has been dropped. Yuck. All right, moving right along. Hitting Kickstarter today from Flying Pig Games is a new war game design from my good friend Herman Lettman. Most Fearful Sacrifice. Here's the scoop. It's early on July 1st, 1863, and Union Brigadier General John Buford's 1st Reserve Cavalry Division is deployed to the west of the town of Gettysburg, battling unidentified Confederate infantry advancing on the town. All morning long, the men in gray have pressured the Union cavalry. Help finally arrives in the form of I Corps Commander, 1st Corps Commander, Major General John Reynolds. He rides up to the Lutheran cemetery where Buford is directing the battle from its cupola. Reynolds calls to Buford, "What goes, John?" The cavalryman simply points to the long lines of advancing Confederates and says, "The devil's to pay." Reynolds then asks, "Can you hold?" To which Buford responds, "I reckon I can." Reynolds ends the exchange with, "Let's ride out and see all about it." And with that rather brief, mundane conversation began one of the most important and iconic military engagements in history, the Battle of Gettysburg. A most fearful sacrifice, which is actually, if I remember correctly, I believe that's a John Bell Hood quote. Pretty sure. A Most Fearful Sacrifice is an epic 2-player war game with over 15 square feet of playing area and 526 playing pieces depicting the fighting that occurred during all 3 days of this decisive clash. The game utilizes a new American Civil War operating system called the Black Swan system, which is closely related to the popular Blind Sword game system first introduced in the game The Devils to Pay by Tiny Battle Publishing, also designed by Herman Lettman. This version of the system is specifically designed to handle larger scale battles, yet keep rules overhead low. Players can simulate huge encounters in a reasonable amount of playing time. This is accomplished in one way through the use of card draws rather than chit pulls. Also, players will trigger activations by cores instead of by lower level formations, but they still have tactical decision-making choices by needing to determine which divisions get activation priority. Though at a grander scale, this system maintains a tactical feel about it and still emphasizes the 3 fouls of war: the fortunes of war, the friction of war, and the fog of war. Players will be challenged to deal with a constantly developing battle situation, never quite sure what the gods of war will throw at them, and thus they must always be prepared to deal with historically realistic Black Swan events. There is a short Kickstarter video, so let's take a peek.
Summer of 1863. The Army of Northern Virginia is moving north in hope to deliver a pivotal blow to the Union forces. Early on July 1st, no farther than 90 miles from Washington, D.C., in the surroundings of the small town Gettysburg, the opposing forces meet. As both sides gather their strength, the largest battle fought in the American Civil War begins to unfold, a battle that will determine the fate of the nation. A Most Fearful Sacrifice is an epic 2-player war game with 13 total scenarios, allowing players to depict the fighting that occurred during all 3 days of this decisive clash. A majority of the scenarios only use one of the game's 2 maps, but 4 scenarios unfold on the entire 15 square feet of playing area. The game utilizes a new ACW operating system called the Black Swan system, specifically designed to handle the larger scale battle, yet keep rules overhead low. One key feature is to focus on the synergy of 2 vitally important mechanisms: unit cohesion and unit support. In addition, the command mechanism of core activation is another salient feature, and this is enacted using cards. At the start of each turn, players populate their respective card decks. Core activation cards. Cards that will provide sought-after tactical advantages, as well as cards that might bring notorious, hard-to-predict rare events into play. Secondly, players secretly lay out each core division priority. The first division is the most likely division to be activated in the turn, so this decision is critical. When a core activation card is drawn, the owning player will roll 1 die and refer to the core activation card's command table. This result will tell the player which units can activate. The cards not only allow players to activate troops, play out events, and allow Commander-in-Chief special actions, but also serve as handy player aids. There is no guarantee, however, that preferred cards will be drawn during the turn, as they might be outright cancelled by a friction of war card. Playing a Most Fearful Sacrifice, players will be challenged to deal with the constantly developing battle situation, never quite sure what the gods of war will throw at them, and thus they must always be prepared to deal with historically realistic Black Swan events. Players must think ahead and try to minimize the impact of coincidence by planning for more than one suitable course of action. A Most Fearful Sacrifice also tells some of the most heroic and most tragic stories to emerge from the annals of military history. The conduct of battle and the myriad of possibilities of how it evolved are fascinating topics to explore in a wargame. The consequences of the Battle of Gettysburg and its reverberating effect on the conduct of the remainder of the American Civil War cannot be understated. A Most Fearful Sacrifice: The 3 Days of Gettysburg. A game designed by Herman Lettman. Published by Mark H. Walker. A Flying Pig game.
A most fearful sacrifice is for 2 players. It did fund within its first 2 hours, actually, on Kickstarter today. Do want to point out, it is not from Tiny Battle Publishing. It is actually from Flying Pig Games. I was putting all this stuff together, and I thought it was going to be through Tiny Battle, but it is actually flyingpiggames.com. Mark H. Walker owns both companies, so kind of interchangeable. That's why they even had mentioned A Devil's to Pay is from Tiny Battle, not Flying Pig Games. So you can get this for a $90 pledge through April 27th. Expected delivery is March of next year. I will point out, I have seen the page for the game over on the Flying Pig Games website. They're indicating it's going to carry an MSRP of $125. Now, I don't know if that's it or not, but if you're interested in doing this, it's a Herman Lettman design, so you know it's going to be good. It is the entire Battle of Gettysburg, so it's not like the Devil's to Pay, which was just the first day of the battle. So definitely, if you're interested in picking this up, save yourself $35 and back it on Kickstarter. All right, so moving right along, the well-received board game Fief France is getting a new edition through Asynchron Games and Ares Games. Here's the latest. Fief France is a game of dynastic ambition in which players assume the roles of French nobles during the Middle Ages, and they strive to become a ruling force in the kingdom. In turn, they acquire royal and ecclesiastical titles, which give their families influence to elect the next pope and king, strengthening their positions by negotiating marriage alliances. In Fief France, a player may attempt to gain control of all the villages in a fief, or fiefdom, to gain the royal title of baron, earl, or duke, and he may take part in the election for the next king, possibly becoming king himself, thus bringing more power to the family. To win the game, a player may need to form alliances with other players through diplomacy and marriage to obtain his or her goal. But when there's a marriage, the two families become allied, and they now win the game together and cannot win alone unless the marriage is annulled by the Pope or the spouse dies mysteriously. Things can suddenly change as event cards can introduce good harvests, plagues, or famine. Players will also need to protect their land and castles by hiring men-at-arms and knights. These are then used in defense or to invade other territories, fighting fierce battles. This revised edition of Fief France includes a new and larger game board, and the rulebook has been revised and updated. Fief France is for 3 to 6 players, ages 14 and up, plays in 1 to 3 hours. It's going to carry an MSRP of around $70. I don't have an exact MSRP just yet when it arrives later this year. So, still some discussion going on in chat about a most fearful sacrifice. This, I've always heard Fief was a very good game. Heard it was really, really good. It was originally being released in North America through Academy Games. I'm kind of surprised it's not any longer. It's now with Ares Games. So, very, very interesting. So let's move on to some role-playing game news, because now available in PDF from UFO Press is Voidheart Symphony. Here's the details on this new RPG. It's a psychic revolution in the shadows of your city. There's a wound in the world, a rot eating at hope and community and empathy. You've seen it in dark alleyways and gleaming boardrooms, gifting terrible power to those who will use it to hurt others. You've had enough. You're going to dive through that wound into the nightmare castle on the other side. You're going to find the avatar of the one bringing you misery and strike them down. But what's next? Once you've stolen their power and ruined their ambitions, will you return to your daily grind, cherish those who are close to you, or revel in the power you have taken from the void? Because within that wound, the castle waits, and it's hungry. Whiteheart Symphony is a tabletop role-playing game about mundane people diving into a demon-filled labyrinth to save the ones they love. Based on Apocalypse World and Rhapsody of Blood, you'll fill your story with dramatic choices and dynamic action. Your rebels each have a core strength. They may be an authority, a provider, a watcher, but your enemy is far too great for you to face alone. Those you care for will grant you powers of their own. An investigative journalist can give you the searing light of the sun. A caring mentor may give you the healing power of the gardener. You'll need to use that strength as you investigate your targets in the mundane world and as you fight breathtaking and uncanny foes in that nightmare castle. The world and void will both offer you their power and make their own demands. How will you strike that balance? What will your revolution fight for? That's your story to tell. You can score this 316-page book in PDF right now over at DriveThruRPG for $19.99. Yes. So Grade A points out that they were curious. Aries picked up Thief. Yes, they have. But I was a little surprised too, because for the longest time that was through Academy Games. So don't know. All right. So this is kind of an unusual sounding role-playing game. I have to admit, there are a lot of role-playing games that I'm seeing that they're making their way into print about revolution. I just received Shadow of Mog, which is a digest size RPG. I'll show it again when I go back full screen for me. Once again, a game about revolution. So I know what Satine Phoenix has a role-playing supplement that's coming out, and it's about bards leading a revolution. So I might actually interview her. I'm not sure, but kind of weird how, there are a lot of role-playing games that seem to have a revolutionary theme to them. All right. My final news piece. There's another role-playing game that's out in print and PDF that looks pretty interesting, and it's Facing the Titans. Here's the latest from author Nicholas Gulix Ronvel. We are the company. Hunters, warriors, mages, scholars, nobles, barbarians. We've been brought together for one purpose, to put an end to the reign of the Titan. This gigantic being has caused ruins and desolation to our world for generations and generations. Progress and wonders are constantly at the mercy of the Titan's whims. Despite their differences, an agreement exists between the nations, the Order of the Titan, us, and others. We have followed a mystical instruction, a physical training, a spiritual journey, or even all. The decisive day is approaching, the one where our company will be gathered, the one where we will stand up to the Titan. We've prepared for this confrontation, but we must not neglect our instincts in this battle. Let us get to know each other and rediscover each other after all these years. Tonight, let us share our experiences so tomorrow, those who survive can tell the stories of those who fall. Facing the Titan is a GM-less zero prep role-playing game for one-shot games of about 3 hours. It's been designed and play-tested for groups of 3 to 5 people. There's also a solo mode available. You play the company, a group of heroes whose fate is to face the colossal Titan and destroy it. You'll only need something to write with and on, and 2 dice, a white one and a black one. I don't know how many faces the dice have, though. It's not mentioned. Based on Swords Without Master by Epidia Ravicol. I'm sure I mispronounced that. The game system will get you to tell the journey of your companion to the final clash against the Titan in a series of 5 distinct phases. The Companions phase, where we meet the characters of this epic story. The Titan phase, where we learn about the Titan. The world phase, where we talk about the journeys of the companions, the preparation phase, where the companions expose their plan, and the clash phase, where you rock the Casbah. Now, where the companions go to battle against the Titan. You'll find 6 basic Titans in the book. There was a successful Kickstarter, which has actually expanded it by, I think it's about another dozen. So there are a lot of Titans in this book. But the original 6 are Menabraz, the living mountain, Vamakaskon, the mother of the herd, Lofatunia, the horror of the depths, Satria, the rusty knight, Jahadu, the heir of the Magi, and Gurantinku, the bronze wing. Each of these Titans will offer an original adventure, replayable at will, thanks to some random list generating a new setting at each game. You can grab the 369-page Facing the Titans hardcover with the PDF for $25 over at Drive-Thru RPG, or snag the PDF alone for $14. I have to say, this sounds pretty interesting, even though it is GM-less, it's zero prep. Sometimes I think those games don't work as well as people think they do. But I'm curious if this really does have 369 pages. Because a 369-page hardcover role-playing game book, even though it looks like the artwork is black and white, for $25, that is a pretty smoking deal. That is pretty wild. So Clint Gibson had to rock out, yes, because we would have been long gone from now. Yes, the show would have been over long ago. So Flaming Heron says, oh, now you got me thinking about RPGs, Jeff. That contest you ran for the Symborum PDF was just for the starter set. Yes, it was just for the starter set. But I have nothing to do with what Boelle decided she was going to send out to folks. So just like the winner of the physical, which wasn't that Clint? I forget who won the physical. Oh no, it was somebody newer, I think, who won. They're getting the physical starter set, and I know Boelle sent PDFs, so I don't know. So that's kind of funny. So Flaming Heron got the core book, the Advanced Player's Guide, and the GM book. I would assume everybody who won may have gotten the same thing. So, which if that's the case, I mean, I got to be honest, it's a sweeter deal than the starter set. But you would have thought you'd have gotten the starter set, right? So anyway, so I was just talking about a couple of items, a couple of releases over on Drive-Thru RPG. Keep in mind, the Gaming Gang, thus the Dispatch, are affiliated with the One Bookshelf sites. So if you are going to go visit, say, Drive-Thru RPG, please be sure to stop by thegaminggang.com first. Click on one of our banner ads. That way, if you happen to make a purchase, I get a small portion of that sale. And all those nickels, dimes, and quarters really do add up and help keep thegaminggang.com around, because there are a lot of people who actually use those banners, use those links for us, and that really, really helps out. Madman says, yes, they received all 3 books for Symborum as well. So let me ask you, did you not receive a starter set in PDF? Because that's kind of weird. So I don't know. Maybe Boelle, well, see, the thing is, my connection at Free League is the one who actually said, hey, do you want to do, I know you're going to be doing some Symborum coverage. Do you want to do some giveaways? And I said, sure. What do you want to do? And it was her idea to do the starter set. So Flaming Heron says, yeah, they got the starter set too. Sweet. Well, hey, I told you before, folks over, well, it's my connection over there. I mean, I don't know everybody from Free League, but their PR person is always very, very cool. She sends me anything I ask for. All right. So normally I'd sit and chat a little bit. We talk about some stuff, but since we are way behind And I just took a peek, and it looks like we're still dropping frames. We dropped to 0 and things like that. I don't know. You'll have to let me know how the stream's going so far. If it's just terrible and can't constantly buffering, because then I'm just gonna upload the video of the show, because that's what I do. I always record the show as I stream it, just in case. So tonight I am going to be taking a look at Unfair and the Unfair expansion, which are both from Good Games Publishing. Both the core game as well as the expansion are designed by Joel Finch, with artwork provided by Mr. Cuddington, Naomi Robinson, and Felipe Poirier. The game is for 2 to 5 players, ages 14 and up, plays in around 50 to 125 minutes. It's kind of an odd, number, right? Unfair carries an MSRP of $49.99. The expansion carries an MSRP of $34.99. So Grade A is pointing out, I wonder if the stream has dropped. So he's in chat saying, drop it likes it hot. Like, I guess it's supposed to be like, drop it like it's hot. And onward to Wednesday. So I don't know. I do see that everything's bouncing all over the place, but anyway. Oh, so Fleming here says, yeah, that was a dramatic pause between the unboxing and the gaming news. Nope, not a dramatic pause. Yeah, this is weird. I don't know. I don't know what's going on, because we just had a stream yesterday that went off with no problems whatsoever. So I don't know. It's something is updated that I'm not aware of, and it's conflicting with something. That's got to be it. We'll see. We'll ride this out. I know it's recording fine. So, all right, let's switch on over to the other camera, because here we've got Unfair. I've got the expansion with it as well. So flip this on over. Build the city's greatest theme park, whatever it takes. Mix some of your favorite themes from pirate, robot, vampire, jungle, gangster, and ninja. Add attractions and upgrade them to match blueprints. Stack up towering rides or simply make the most cash. But watch out. Your competitors may pay off the safety inspectors to close your rides or hire hooligans to vandalize your park. Build wisely and protect your park to make sure you come out on top. Whatever happens, it's bound to be unfair. For some reason, I thought you could sabotage other people's rides. So I don't know. We're going to find out. Let's take a peek what we've got. Once again, as I mentioned, this actually, and I'm going to take the box cover off camera, because sometimes that throws the good old focus off. Whoops, bring this back down. So we have a comprehensive guide to building and operating a tabletop. So as you see, like, the F is out. So it's unfair. So let's take a quick peek at the rule book, and then we'll jump in. Anyway, I started to say that this actually has a lot more heft than Funfair does. My understanding is this is a bit of a heavier game, but it's also a very similar game in how you play. So talking about the setup, showing our starting setup. So that looks very, very similar to Funfair's board with our city cards. We've got our park cards, event cards that you don't have in Funfair, but you do also have blueprint cards. So showing the different cards here. So when you're building your theme park, you're going to have different attractions, and then you add features or upgrades to those attractions as well. So how to win. At game end, the player with the most points wins. There are 3 main ways to score: attraction size, blueprints, coins. Make sure your competitors don't. So we've got an event step, park step, guest step, and cleanup step. So it does look like this might play very similarly to Funfair. So here's a guide to layout and operation. So you'll have a gate card, which is right here, and then your attractions are built to the right of it, and then your staff that you hire. And here we have resources in Funfair. It's just staff. That all goes to the left. So talking about the guest step, scoring at the end. Your staff can give you points too, I should point out. I'm not sure why that wasn't mentioned on that. I'm taking a guess that has not changed. So we get a glossary. So actually, the rules are fairly short. I mean, there's a lot of images in here too. We've actually got a couple other full page like that. All right, so there are the rules. Looks like we've got some player aids as well. Looks like we've got a couple of these. So it's going to show us the attraction types, the upgrade types, staff members and resources, some miscellaneous. And the stars here are how many guests this card attracts to your park. So talking about, we've got the features, guest services, quality, theme, animal. That's not in Funfair. Then we got the scoring. So we've got a score by attractions. So number of icons that you've built. So they could be upgrades, they could be features, they could be quality, whatever. If they have an icon on that ride, you're going to count down. So if you have a ride that's got 6 icons on the cards, you'll get 25 victory points. The blueprints are pretty interesting. We'll see those in a sec. We've got the coins, and then we've got staff members and other cards. And then we've got loans. So that is something that is not in Funfair as well. Once again, I will mention that this is supposed to be a heavier game, a meatier game than Funfair. So here's one of the things I see. This is the same. I thought this is very cool. So we've got the game board here, right? So that's our game board. And if all the players are sitting on the same side, then you use the board like this. If they aren't, you can use the board like this, where some of it is upside down. So you've got some facing you and some facing the other players. I thought that was cool. I like that. I thought that was very nice. All right. So looks like we've got a very cool insert here. And we've got dice. So we got a bunch of cards. We're going to have more cards from the expansion as well. We're not going to look at everything in here. We got a scoring pad and a pencil. So there's the pencils down in there. If you can't, might not be seeing it here. There we go. There's a pencil. And we've got our round marker, phase marker, step marker is a roller coaster. And this actually has 4 people in it. Funfair has a similar thing. It's not the same. It's not the same style roller coaster. It's got 2 people in it. So you actually use that to mark what step you're in each turn. So we've got that. And very nice quality to the game board. That should hold up very nicely. Okay, so we've got, these are the themes. So I do believe we've got more, I think we've got like theme decks. Whereas in Funfair, you have different themes, but there aren't enough, like a full deck. We also have coins. I can see here we've got the player 1 marker. So we've got different coins. We've got some other stuff too. It's almost like, I'd be hypnotized. And that. So it looks like a grade A says, I haven't actually, I'm not paying too much attention to chat at the moment. I apologize. Yeah, it's saying it's dropped down to like 144p. 144p, eh? Yeah, this is pretty bad. I apologize, everybody who's hanging out watching this in chat. I am going to just, when I'm done with this, I'm just going to upload the video and do it. I'll just get rid of the live streams that are there. Unfortunately, I lose the chat. That's what stinks. So I apologize for that. So Sarah says her solution for everything is jiggle the wires. If it doesn't work, reboot it. If that doesn't work, threaten to go Office Space on it. After that, get a new one. Have you turned it on and back up? Have you turned it off and back on? Yes, good old IT crowd. All right, so we got a bunch of these markers and that. So we've got part card deck here. Looks like another theme possibly with vampires. Got a bag, but definitely like this insert. This insert is pretty cool. So definitely like that. All right. Let's take a look at these cards. I'll actually zoom in so we can get a better look at the cards here. And I believe that is kind of all that the expansion. Well, no, I take that back. I think the expansion has some new rules. I think it's got new themes as well. So we'll see. All right. So we've got handy dandy player aid here. I would assume we're going to have a few of these. So are these all part cards? No, they are not. We've got some showcase cards. Showcases are like the big major rides in your theme park. So Raymond's asking, is it normally like this? No. Is the stream normally like this? No, not at all. All right. So we've got events. So this is different. That is not something that we've got in Fun Fair. So we got blueprints. So it looks like these are kind of mixed up. So here we got city. So we got red city cards. We got blue city cards. I'm not sure. We'll have to see what's going on with that. We've got loans, gates. Remember I told you got the gate that you actually build your attractions to the right of it. And then your staff and your resources will go to the left. Then we have vampire. It just says vampire. So usually there's something a little more than that. All right. So it looks like we got a variety of different decks, and they're all kind of put together differently. So, okay, so Vlad's Impaler is a super attraction, and it's got a built-in vampire theme, and it's a thrill ride. So Renfield Steakhouse is a super attraction, but it's a food outlet. So what we were getting here is, I guess, let's take a look. Where were the perk cards? Here are the perk cards. I thought maybe these would have kind of a vampire theme to it, but I guess not. Although there's a licensed character who's a vampire. Okay. We'll crack open some of these. I'm going to just use my hobby knife. Just want to show you the quality of the artwork. Because as I mentioned, we've had a blast with Fun Fair. So, okay, so we got, this looks like this stuff's robot theme. These are loan cards. So that's what the loan cards look like. So it looks like you're going to turn this depending on how many coins that you were getting. So a grade A says, I wonder if a Renfield steak is charred. So we got another scoring summary card. So once again, we got it broken up. We've got some park cards. We've got showcase cards. So we've got the Mega Factory Thrill Ride and the Robopocalypse 2057 Thrill Ride. Because remember, we already saw that it's a robot theme. And then it kind of tells us a little bit about these themes and like any additional rules, where here it says there aren't any. But then if you flip it over, it says, it looks like if you're trying to do a theme for your park, that the robot theme supports attraction sizes, a lot of blueprints, not so much coins, not so much probably messing with the other players. And then shows us the vampire there as well. So that's very cool. And then, of course, the park is, we've got attractions, we've got upgrades, we've got staff members. We have additional features that we'll add as well. So, and of course, we got quality upgrades also. So we've got a lot of these decks. So we've got pirate, we've got ninja, we got jungle, we've got gangsta, but not every one of these decks is filled with only those cards. It's got a few of them. It's saying, okay, so we've got that, but so then we have updated cards. This is a pack here. It looks like they're updated cards that were supposed to replace original cards. Don't just add them in. So I'm not going to open this. I'm going to hang on to that. So once I have everything, sorted out, then I'll actually replace these as well. So Great A says inflatable stakes, holy water squirters on Vlad the Impaler ride. So Flaming Heron says, like any live stream, you're sort of victim to how good the internet is at the time. Yeah, that is true. That is true. So I guess Raymond thinks this is how it always is. Oh, how could you people hang out? I wouldn't be able to hang out, watch this, just like all choppy and that. Yeah, it looks like this has been horrible. It looks like 2/3 of the frames have dropped. Well, everybody who's hanging out, watching live, keep in mind that you can always check out the uploaded video to see what the hell was actually going on. So I'm going to put this stuff away because I do want to take a peek at the expansion as well. And we're closing in on 9:00 my time here, which I never want to be going that late. So kind of cool. This is a really nice insert too. So we've got all the different cards. We got all the different counters. We've got the board. We had the 2 large size player aids as well as the rule book. And that's what we get with everything from Unfair. Of course, I am going to have a review of this in the very near future. Once again, I keep telling you, we've had a really good time with Funfair, and I take that in my games. I like to mess with other players. So I got to say, I think I'm going to like Unfair maybe even better. All right, so we're just going to take a look here, just kind of get an idea. Once again, we've got 4 new themes with this, with the expansion here. Now, once again, this expansion carries an MSRP of $34.99. So here we've got some new rules, and actually, there's quite a few. So we've got new game changers, new icons. So we got the aliens, B-movie, dinosaur. So we have new park entrances. Yeah, this looks kind of cool. And there's actually quite a bit in here. So we have golden rules, rule interpretation, FAQs, and additions to the glossary as well. So it looks like we've got a bunch of new counters and tokens. So it looks like we've got insurance excess. Maybe those are dinosaur eggs. Looks like we've got a UFO. I'm not sure what that might be. Okay, what's this? This looks different. Cleanup step reminder, event step reminder. That's pretty wild. Cool. Yeah, so I think we have like alien influence or something. I saw one of the rules. That's part of that. So we've got those. course, we got more decks of cards. So we've got more updated cards here. Yes, we do. So we've got a little deck of updated cards there. And just looks like that might be a couple of cards. Showcase ride. So we've got the Alien, the B movie, the Western theme, and the dinosaur theme. So one of the things that I would think I would probably not be as keen on is, I'm taking a guess, you're supposed to sort these out by the themes, and then you decide how many themes you're going to play with. And that means you're going to be like constantly shuffling stuff up. All right, so we'll take a peek at a few of these cards real quick. So I don't even know if anybody's still watching. Like I said before, I don't think I would have been. So we've got another scoring summary. I don't think this increases the number of players. I think it's still a 2 to 5 player game. So we got more gates, more event cards, more blueprint cards, more red city, more blue city, lone card, another gate, and then we've got the breakdown of the dinosaurs. So we'll kind of look at some of the events. So these are kind of broken into two. First in line, anonymous complaints, dumpster diving or drunken hooligans, project management or frivolous lawsuit, merchandising, giant wad of cash. Okay, so we got some of the park cards. Terra Coaster, Vehicle Tour, Maxi Screen Cinema, the Omnivore. Is it an omnivore? Discovery Hall, Stegosaurus Reserve, Animal Feed Seller, Dinosaur Supervisor. So it looks like a lot of these are for the specific theme. So this is actually a dinosaur park with dinosaurs. It's not just a dinosaur themed park. So that's kind of cool. Electrified fence is considered part of guest services. Quality updates. There we go. Just giving an attraction a dinosaur theme. Cool. Nice. All right, let's take a look. I just want to see some of the park cards. There's a lot. There's a lot of variety here. So this is pretty interesting. Okay, let's just go park cards. Because I don't think the showcase, yeah, I guess they do. I guess you should I guess you need to keep all of these together in a deck. That would really be kind of a pain. Okay, so we had dueling roller coaster, carousel, stagecoach. This is the Western one. Bank shootout show, saloon's dockside bazaar, gunslinger as a staff member, right engineer, vacant lots. Cool, nice, very nice. So that is that. It's kind of funny because I took these apart and I'm like, oh yeah, well that's this, that's that. So it's like, now these decks probably aren't put together right anymore. So just put them in like that. Nice going, Jeff. Well, the assumption was you're just going to have the different themes that you're going to insert. Not that every one of these is its own unique deck. So we got another main gate here. All right, let's see. These are the blueprint cards. More events. So House of Wax, Mystery Theater, Crazy Mouse, Drive-In Theater. These are B movie. Graviton, Shape-Shifting Thing. Themed merchandise outlets. Coming soon. Cool. Binoculars. So Flaming Heron says, trying to keep a track of what cards go where. That's a lot of cards. I know. So, well, I'm sure I'll be able to figure it out. Right now, I am putting these from the expansion in the right spots. So, all right. And finally, we've got the Alien deck. Let's just take a peek at the part cards for this. So, as far as I understand, I think each of these is a 57 card deck. So, I have a Stellar Portal, Xenobotanical Garden, Alien Buffet, Saucer Slide, Cloning Lab, Alien Ambassador, Alien Symbiote, Tour Guide, Gravity Inverter, Currency Exchange, Shield Generator. Got some observation platforms. Wow, there's quite a few of those. And ultra premium quality, as well as a holographic emitter. And here are some just generic alien themes. Cool. Cool deal. I look forward to diving into this and checking these out. All right, so we've got the new tokens. Let's do it. Let's do this like that. Slide those in there. So we can, yeah, there we go. That's what I was trying to do. All right, so we've got the 4 decks. We've got all the new tokens. We've got the new rule book. And that's what we find. We take everything outside the box for the unfair expansion. Cool deal. So the man says, I'm not taking my kids to the cloning lab. All right, so let's swing on over to the other camera here. Ay, ay, ay. What a night. What a night. You haven't seen most of it because all those frames dropping. Hopefully it's once again, hopefully it's just some sort of weird Windows update, or it's just a hiccup with Xfinity, good old Comcast. So, you know how that goes. All right. Anyway, I will, of course, have a review of Unfair as well as the Unfair expansion in the very near future. Once again, the game is for 2 to 5 players, ages 14 and up, plays in about 50 to 125 minutes. Unfair carries an MSRP of $49.99. The expansion carries an MSRP of $34.99. All right, to those of you who watch live, boy, I tell you, you're dedicated. I really do appreciate that. I really do. And if you followed the show for a couple of years, right? You know, back in the day when things like this would happen, I'd be like, oh, yeah. Now it's sort of like, I don't know. Not much I can do, folks. Not much at all. Anyway, so if you were watching live, thank you very much. Always appreciate that. And of course, I'm sure people will be watching after the fact that they're going to be watching this recording. It's not the live stream. So they're going to be like, I don't know what the fuss was. I saw everything fine. Yeah, but those watching live, we know what the story really was. All right. So I will be back tomorrow, and it's War Game Wednesday. Once again, fingers crossed that we're not going to have these issues again tomorrow. But I'm going to unbox and take a first look at Bayonets and Tomahawks from GMT Games. If you're curious what else is cooking on Thursday's show, I am going to unbox and take a first look at Traveler, The Great Rift from Mongoose Publishing. Of course, this is Thursdays. I like to do role-playing games. On Monday, we're probably going to take a look at the 2 new expansions for War Chest from AEG. So we've got Siege, which I think this is the newest. This is the one that's just coming out. But we're also going to take a look at Nobility, which I think Nobility's maybe already out. We'll find out. But we're going to take a look at both of those on Monday. All right. So if you like this video, by all means, give it a quick thumbs up. Subscribe to the Gaming Gang channel if you haven't already. And if you do subscribe, ding that bell. It'll not only let you know when the dispatch streams live, usually with much better quality, Monday through Thursday nights here on YouTube. But it'll also let you know when I upload other videos, such as my upcoming review for World's Fair 1893 from Renegade Game Studios. That'll be very, very soon. All right, so everybody enjoy the rest of your Tuesday night, Wednesday morning, or whatever date you happen to see this. And of course, as I wrap up all my videos during this never-ending pandemic, certainly hope all of you out there are being smart and staying safe. Oh, hey, you're still here. Well, if that's the case, by all means, if you haven't subscribed to the Gaming Gang channel yet, click right here. If you'd like to see the latest episode of the Gaming Gang Dispatch, click right up there. And if you want to trust YouTube's algorithm to give you something to watch, click right there. Once again, thanks so much for watching, and everybody please wear a mask.